Hi, everyone. Great to be here. So I'm ready to go when you are, we hope. I'm interested how many in this room identify personally as a change maker. Okay, most of you, not everybody. And as change makers, how much do we know about the power of the arts to be a catalyst for change? How sophisticated are we in leveraging it to promote change, growth, transformation of place? The organization that I run, along with Robert Foster, our board chair, sitting over here, called Artscape, basically is an organization that has developed a portfolio of properties over 27 years in Toronto. And at the core of the work that we do, we're providing affordable space for the creative community. But importantly, these projects are also very focused on revitalizing the neighborhoods that they're part of. We have 9 properties in operation, about 1,600 creative people who are working in them. That includes 120 not-for-profit organizations and 20 different public events venues. These spaces are all designed to be self-sustaining once the front-end capital is invested. So while creativity and artists are at the core of what we do, our most important role is connecting their needs and interests with the needs and interests of other people who are interested in growing the cities. And that includes connecting with private developers, with public policy objectives at all levels of government, with community and neighborhood activists, as well as philanthropic missions. And in fact, the best work happens when we bring all those together at the same time. Unbelievably, shockingly, we have 17 new projects in development in Toronto. One of the major initiatives we're working on is proliferating the development of cultural space outside the core. We have 5 major projects in discussion on Toronto's waterfront. There's a lot of work to be done. Through our creative placemaking lab, we've been busy building and sharing knowledge with other cities around the country and around the world. And we've been engaging deeply in Vancouver, so much so that we're now considering creating our first outpost, BC Artscape, in the coming months. So if you're interested in talking about that, I'd be happy to talk about that later. Did anyone see my piece this week in the Huffington Post? I don't know how you missed it, because it was right above that headline that said, Miley Cyrus has bruises on her butt, shows them to the world. Don't really have time to get into that, but we can talk about that later. These next guys have nothing to do with Miley Cyrus or her bruised butt. They are, of course, the business gurus and Harvard professors Michael Porter and Mark Kramer. And they're the leading advocates of this concept that I've become a disciple of, called shared value. Creating shared value is their answer to reinventing capitalism for the future. They say that corporations have become too narrowly focused on short-term gains, and they argue that we need to realign corporate interest and social progress and to put it at the center of what we're doing, not just at the periphery in some kind of corporate CSR kind of way. Shared value is about working in a different way. Private sector, government, not-for-profits. And this is an example of how we're doing that in Toronto, how a private developer, a public housing agency, a ton of not-for-profits and citizens are building this community, rebuilding it really. This is, of course, Regent Park, Canada's oldest and largest public housing development. It's going through a massive revitalization, the transformation from a low-income community of 7,500 to a mixed-use, mixed-income community of 17,000. The project involves a total teardown and temporary relocation of the people who are living there, and then their reintegration back into the community. It's a project that is a unique joint venture between these parties, and you can imagine how complicated this incredible thing is. We're about halfway through this process, and while there have been all kinds of bumps along the way, it's going very, very well. One of the distinguishing features of the Regent Park revitalization is the amount and quality of the social infrastructure that didn't used to exist that's going to exist in the new place. And the centerpiece of that is called Daniel Spectrum. It's a project that has been developed and is operated by Artscape, but is jointly owned by Daniel's Toronto Community Housing and Artscape. It's a $38 million, 60,000 square feet community cultural hub. It opened about 18 months ago. That's what it looks like. And it includes 5 different performance and event spaces, a floor dedicated to arts-based learning for children and youth, a 10,000 square foot center for social innovation. And the vision for this place, which was to create a place rooted in Regent Park but open to the world, really was built from the ground up in the community by residents who told us that they wanted to erase the stigma of their community. Their strategy was to welcome people in, to showcase who they were, coming from, as they did, 56 different countries of origin, speaking 47 different languages. In the first year of operations, we welcomed more than 60,000 people to performances and events. Daniel Spectrum was named the best new event venue in Canada, in a neighborhood where people used to be afraid to drive through. And many incredible things have happened along the way of creating this place. We've, together, all the partners created a new narrative for this project. And that's helping to foster social cohesion, of course. It's creating a new there in Regent Park. It's also creating a multi-billion-dollar market for condominium development. So rather than actually all fighting for a bigger slice of the pie, together we've baked a much bigger pie, and when that happens, everyone can win. So how do you begin to create shared value in your institutions? I think, and this has been mentioned already today, it starts by not sort of asking what others can do for you, but really thinking deeply about what value you can bring to your city, to your neighborhood, to your region. There's no doubt in my mind that every institution in this room is deeply involved in meaningful collaborations. But are we truly leveraging the power of the arts to promote change of people's lives and of places? Have we successfully put art at the center of city building? Can we better align our institutional interests with social progress, as Michael Porter and Mark Kramer would like us to do? My sense is that we're only just beginning to scratch the surface of the possibility here. And so I'd say to all of you, my friends and colleagues, it's time to unleash the inner change maker within all of us. Thank you very much.